people just aren't taught to think of uh, finance as a trust issue.
Yeah.
They just don't. That language is just it may be a budget issue. It may be uh, a debt concern, but to think of it as this is a huge trust issue, and the degree to which you are entrusting yourself to God that will then be the degree in which you can begin give yourself to the kinds of things that God says are important in this whole area of money.
As an extension of that, I think part of it is that we also think that the money in our bank account, that our house, that our car or cars, that it's all ours. That we are the owner. Once again, there's a book called Redeeming Money. It's a great book, wonderful author, who talks about the identity problem. And it's that we often think that we are the owner of the resources that are in our possession. And because of that, there can be trust issues because it feels like we're letting go of something that's ours. But what we know the Scripture teaches us is that from the very beginning, God is the owner. He's the creator, therefore He is the owner of everything. We see that in the parable of the talents, when the master hands over the talents to the servants. He then goes on a long journey. We never see in that parable where those talents become are owned then by the servant, right? Possession does not equal ownership. We need to be very clear. So if something's in your hands, it doesn't mean that it's yours. As an example, my first job, first real job, right, was when I was 15. I worked at a place called The Park, and it was a go-kart and putt-putt course. And my responsibility for the summer was to take care of the go-karts. So I was the person that got customers in the cart, out of the cart. I spent the entire summer with those go-karts. I knew which one was fastest. I knew which one was slower. So if I liked you, you're going in the fast one. If you bothered me, you're going in the slow one. I knew which one would likely have some type of engine trouble by the end of the day. I knew everything about those go-karts. Now, at any point, though, during that summer, were those go-karts mine? Even though they were in my possession the entire summer and I knew them intimately. At any point, were those go-karts mine? Well, you know the answer. Those watching, those listening know the answer. No. They were the owner's go-karts. And I was just simply there as an employee to do what he would do if he were there. So it's the same thing with our finances. I actually try to use the word entrust more than give. It's not that I think that give is unbiblical as it relates to God handing possessions over to us, but I think the word entrust really communicates what actually happens. That God He's not providing a gift in the sense that it's ours now, but He entrusts us with resources to carry out His plan and His mission. I genuinely believe that if we really believe that God is the owner, that changes everything about our finances. Because if you truly believe that God is the owner, then you have to then ask the question, okay, what does the owner want me to do with this? At that park, I had to ask the question, okay, what does the owner want me to do with these go-karts? I had to ask that question. And so it's the same thing with us, that we need to recognize that our role is the managers, which is an amazing role. It's an amazing responsibility that He's given us, but it's not ours. And so therefore we should be asking the question, what's His plan? What's His purpose for these resources? And when you do that, I think it helps with the trust issue a little bit.